Hey guys, I'm David and welcome to Living with the Coopers. Now, I know we've got a lot of new subscribers recently and maybe you don't know why this channel has started in the first place. There's one reason and one reason only, and that's our daughter Alanis. When me and Ellen first found out we were going to have a baby, we decided that we were going to set up a little email address for the baby, send her emails every now and then, and when she's 18 she can open it with the password and, she'll be able to read all the emails we sent her through the years. So we kept that going for a little while. And we'd always talked about me doing some form of vlogging or YouTube channel or just documenting it somehow. So that's how we got here. So the original idea was for me to basically do a day-to-day of being a stay-at-home father. Because Ellen works a 9 to 5 and I only work weekends, I've got the baby the majority of the week. We thought it's a little bit different to most people's home life then and the structure of their family, so we thought it'd make a little bit more interesting viewing as well, but we haven't really touched on it yet. So I'm going to basically be doing some videos all about fatherhood, about how fatherhood's changed me, about how I feel about fatherhood, and so on and so forth. But before all that, we need to get to the beginning. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about when Ellen first found out we were having a baby up until the birth of Alanis, and I'll just leave the rest for another time. So let's go back right to the beginning. So it was a Sunday and we'd just been out for lunch with my parents and Ellen's parents in Blanco's, the place we went for our Easter meal the other day. And Ellen had been feeling a bit ill for about a week. I was terrifically hungover because I'd been out with the band the night before. So after dinner we came home and I went straight up to bed. So I was there for a few hours and then Ellen comes upstairs, turns the light on, and me being hungover, I was like, oh, what's going on? She said, you're going to be a daddy. And my mind just... I remember it vividly. It was just such a... Oh my gosh, I cried instantly. I was so overjoyed. Now, my background with children, there's always been children in my family, but for some reason I'd never pictured myself, I could never get my head round having my own child. So this was all brand new to me. I'd never really given it much thought before, and I was super excited. So later on that day, we went to see Ellen's parents, we saw my parents, and I told the boys in the band as well that we were expecting a child. Everyone was absolutely over the moon for us. It's so exciting, the most exciting time of my life. So roll on a little bit. It was our 12-week scan, and by this point we were really excited anyway, and we went into the sonographer's office and she brought up the little monitor and then scanned Ellen's stomach, and there was the baby. Now, she was unbelievably active. She was kicking her legs, it seemed like she was dancing, and me and Ellen both thought different things. Ellen thought, God, look at how much she's moving, she must be a girl. And I thought, oh, look how much she's moving, she must be a boy. And that's when the bet started. Is she going to be a boy or is she going to be a girl? So move on a little bit further, then 16-week scan. We went and had a gender scan. We paid for it because we really wanted to know. So we went into the office and she was starting to scan, look for the baby, and as soon as she came up on the screen, it was uncanny. Up until this point, I wanted a boy. But just so weirdly, as soon as she came up on that screen, I thought, oh my gosh, I hope she's a girl. Instantly. And about 30 seconds later, she said, you're having a girl. Oh my God, over the moon. Our parents were there. We were crying. We were so overjoyed. It was amazing. Now, the next 24 weeks were a mixture of me laughing at Ellen because she was having morning sickness. She dealt with this so well. We had first kicks. Every time she kicked and I felt it, I'd tear up, and it was just so exciting. This little being, this growing inside my wife. It was it's unreal. You can't describe it. You can't describe it, the feeling. I used to talk to her barely. I'd say, oh, you know, when you come out, I'm going to take you like down the park, and, you know, I'm going to buy you sweets, and I'm going to spoil you rotten, which I have kept my word to so far. And everything seemed to be very, very, very exciting. We had like the perfect pregnancy. Nothing went wrong. Everything up until Ellen's due date, and then Ellen started going over her due date. Now, it still wasn't a problem. Ellen ended up going, I think it was 2 or 3 days over her due date. I think it was 3 days. The 2nd of August, the baby was meant to be born, and she was born on the 5th. On the 4th, Ellen started feeling like some proper pains and stuff. I can't go into it because I've never felt them, but, you know, she really started to feel, right, something's happening. So we went into the hospital, Neath Talbot Hospital, where they've got birth suites, where I was allowed to stay overnight. We could stay for a couple of days if we wanted to. You know, it wasn't like a ward where it's just, right, baby's out, right, you're okay, get out. It was, right, take your time, enjoy it. So we got in there. Ellen had a bit of a bath. We had to walk round for ages. Nothing seemed to be moving, and then all of a sudden, at about 6:30 in the morning on the 5th, things really started to happen. I remember it so clearly. Ellen was lying down on the bed, got examined, and just said, she was having a water birth. I haven't brought that up yet. She was going to have a water birth. She always fancied it because of the pain relief. And it's just, she thought it was a nicer way to give birth. It was a nicer environment. So the bath was being run for a good hour because they're very deep and they've got to be brought to temperature and stuff like that. So as soon as Ellen started feeling, right, something's really happening now, she said, right, the bath is ready for you. And Ellen just ran. She just stood up. She had nothing on. Well, she had the front of the gown on. The back was undone. And she just ran through the birthing suite, then out into the ward corridor and into the room where the bath was, and just jumped in. And from there on, it was just the most amazing experience. Ellen, up to that point, it started getting really bad, like pain. She couldn't talk a lot. She was getting quite edgy, quite aggravated, understandably. I tried to keep my distance. She told me a couple of times, oh, get away from me, you know, stop touching me and stuff like that. But then we went into the room and into the bath, and she just completely relaxed, like absolutely unbelievably relaxed. She had a little bit of gas and air then. I've got a couple of videos that I could show you of her just being like in a world of her own and happy and everything, but I won't show you because I think they're a little bit graphic. You right? So, how do you feel?
I'm excited.
I'm okay.
So she was in the water, and the labour started to intensify. She was getting closer, and then we could start seeing the head. Now, this is a bit weird because I've never been in this situation before. So the midwife said, oh, do you want to come and see the head? And I said, yeah, of course, yeah. So she had this little like mirror on a stick kind of that was in the water. So I looked over and I could see the baby's head, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. It's just, I can't believe this is happening. And then next thing you know, Ellen, just one push. In fact, I think the midwife has said, oh, you know, a couple more pushes now and then the baby be out. But no, Ellen had different plans and the baby had different plans. So one more contraction was coming and Ellen just decided to give it a good old push. And the next thing you know, the baby was bouncing round on the bottom of the bath. It was unbelievable. So I was looking down and like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? And, you know, obviously, I don't know, can she drown? No, because she can't, because she's got the umbilical cord still attached, it's fine. So the midwife picked her up, and by this point, I was like streaming with tears. The midwife took her, I got to cut the umbilical cord. It was really weird. It was like cutting through like bacon fat. But, you know, did it, and they said, right, okay, we got to, like, you know, make sure the baby's all right and stuff now, and then you can come and have a look. So they, you know, cleaned her off a bit, and they took her over to another corner of the room. Then they said, oh, Dad, do you want to come and have a look? And no word of a lie, I stood over her and looked at her, and my glasses, from tears of joy, like, filled up, so I couldn't see anything at all. It was just, like, water in my glasses. It was so surreal. And then Ellen had a hold, and then finally I got to have a hold. And this was after a good like half hour or so, because there were obviously little things that need to be going on and the baby getting looked after. And this is the moment that completely changed the way I felt about almost everything. I was sat down and the midwife came over and said, right, do you want to hold the baby? And I said, yeah, of course, yeah. So I started holding her, and I could just, it was surreal. I could feel her like running through me. It was like this warm, like calming, soothing energy was just going all through my body. It was like she was part of me. I could feel her running through my blood. It was just, oh, it was unbelievable. So I was just holding her so tightly. Well, not that tightly, obviously she's a newborn, but I was holding her, I was just thinking, oh, I love this child so much. And obviously it's the first time I'd ever seen her. Like, I'd only just seen her. And the weird thing was, looking at her was like I'd always known her face, because you try to picture your children when you know, when Ellen was pregnant, we tried to picture her constantly, like, what's she gonna look like? Is she gonna look like you? Is she gonna look like me? And she was instantly recognisable. It was so peculiar. Then we had a few more things to do. You know, Ellen had to be looked after the labour. Obviously, there's certain things that happen to a woman when she gives birth. So I just chilled out a bit. All the family came over. Oh, it was just the most beautiful day. In the end, that night I had to go to work. I was gigging in a wedding in Cardiff, and I couldn't find cover for Love Nor Money, so I had to go and do that. And then I just came back and just constantly looked at the baby. Like, I just couldn't take my eyes off her. She was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And it just changed me, completely changed me. And from that moment on, I've definitely been a different person. I'm not perfect by any means, but I realise now that this is what life is about. It's about these moments where you feel utterly connected to someone, and between myself, Ellen and the baby, we were just all absolutely connected. So we spent the next couple of days then in Neath Patolwyd Hospital. Ellen got the most wonderful treatment there. She was, you know, looked after constantly. There was always somebody on hand. Luckily, it was really quiet when we were there. Obviously, if we were busier, then we probably have to get out sooner. Oh, it was just fantastic. And then finally we got to bring her home, and this is where I'm going to end. We brought her home. Obviously, we got dogs. The dogs, we thought, right, let's introduce them straight away. So we brought her in, sat down and held her, and the dogs came up and had a bit of a sniff and then just disappeared. They weren't really interested, but that's another story completely. I mean, their relationship, the baby and the dogs, is something completely different again.
Danny, come here. Millie, here.
Sunny, sit. Who's this? Who's this? Come here, Mel.
Say hello now.
Millie, come here, baby.
Millie, go say hello.
Come here, baby. Who's this?
That's your baby sister.
Who's this? Look.
Millie, go say hello. Go say hello.
Millie. Who's this? Who's this? Look. Come here, Mel. Who's this? Who's this? Who's this, Dan?
Oh, have a good sniff.
Who's this, look?
She don't care, she's sleeping.
I'm going to end the video here. I do apologise for it being so soppy, but, you know, this little girl is my life. She's absolutely everything to me, and Ellen obviously, but the baby, there's something special about her. Her bond is just different to anything I've ever experienced in my life. She's incredible. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you soon.